Dear students, very good morning. I hope this PPT is visible to you. Okay. Uh, so we are going to be seeing a new topic like association rule mining. Okay, it is a part of your next module. Okay. So now we will enter into this association rule mining. It was initially this association rule mining was proposed by Agarwal, okay, and his team, okay, in the year 1993, okay. So why and when you want to make use of this association rule mining, okay? So this association rule mining was initially it was proposed in order to make use of analyzing the purchase behavior of the customers, that is called as market basket analysis. Okay. If we go into certain supermarkets, okay, or if you do some online shopping, okay, you may encounter some sort of experiences like the users who have purchased this item has also purchased this item. Okay, so it has been recommended to you. So this sort of experience might you might have encountered in online shopping, or even in if you are going offline to certain supermarkets, and if you're going to buy some items, okay, or some groceries, okay, you may find some recommendations uh, to buy some products. Okay, so for doing such recommendations, okay, first you have to analyze the purchase history, okay, the purchase pattern of the customers, okay, and then based upon the products which are being most frequently associated in the purchase pattern will be recommended in the future. Okay. For example, if I have bought some product X, okay, from some online shopping store, okay, I am getting a recommendation that to buy the product Y. Why I am getting this product Y as a recommendation? The reason is in the in the transaction history of the customers who have previously purchased X, okay, might also purchase Y. Okay, that was the event that occurred in the past. Based upon such patterns, now when you are going to buy the same product X, okay, previously the users who bought X will also buy Y. Okay, so this product Y will be recommended to you. Okay, so for identifying this pattern, identifying X is being associated with product Y. Okay, and um, identifying the association between these products. Okay, you are going to make use of the algorithm called as association rule mining. It is initially it was made use in the market basket analysis. Okay, so that what could be the outcome of this type of association rule mining algorithms are, if you look into some, if you visit some um, shopping store, okay, to buy some groceries, okay, you may see like items are being arranged in some format. Okay, if you directly enter into a shopping mart, okay, you can see all those grocery items. Okay, all the items will be placed in some order, which means that they will keep the items in an order such that the items which are closely connected with each other. Okay, if someone buys bread packets, I'm just saying for example, okay, if I'm placing bread packet in one stack, in the nearby stack I will be in the stand I will be placing some milk, okay, and then butter, and then jam, Like that, the items which are associated, which are most expected to bought together, will be placed together in so that the customer will find it easy, okay, to take those items together and put it in their cart. Okay, so this is the idea behind this and outcome of this type of association rule mining. So because of this association rule mining, you are expected that if a person has an idea to buy only bread, okay, he's just entering the this shopping place, okay, he's going into that and he's okay, so he is buying the bread packet, but he is seeing milk is there, jam is there, some ketchup is there, okay, some items which is associated with the bread. The person who bought bread, obviously he will buy milk, jam, butter, okay, some items associated with this is available there. But his idea is only to buy bread. But once he is seeing milk over here, butter over there, okay, he'll get the intention to buy there because these items are associated with the bread. So he will buy those items and he will put it in the cart and the bill he will pay and go. So what is the idea behind this is we are just making the customers to buy some other items also which is most frequently identified to be bought along with that item he is intended to buy. Okay, so that is the concept and outcome behind this association rule mining. Okay, so what is the data model for this for this mining algorithms? This is also an algorithm, or we will say they have given the algorithm also, and the technique is having a simple data model. Okay, so you will be given a set of items and the transactions which is associated with the items. Okay, so item I1, I2, I up to M items will be there, and every transaction will contain the item I. Okay, so the model needs the input as transaction database. Okay, so that each transaction will have first transaction, one person has bought only milk. Okay, in the second transaction, a person bought milk and butter. In the third transaction, milk, butter, and then bread. So in this way, you will be given the history of transaction, okay, of the purchase history the customers has bought from that particular store. Okay, it will be made it as a digital entry and it will be available as a transaction. Okay, transaction database. Okay, so we'll see one example. For this market basket analysis, transaction T1, the this is customer. First customer is buying bread, cheese, milk. The second transaction, the customer is buying apple, eggs, salt, and yogurt. Okay, and then in like that, the n number of transactions will have these are all items. This is I. This is I2. This is I3. Okay, so the concept behind this supermarket data is, okay, each item will be added in our basket. Okay, item is going to be I, and a transaction is going to have a unique ID to represent, that is called as transaction ID, and set of all the transactions will be combined together to have a transactional data set available stored in a database, that is transaction database. So this is the input for your association rule mining model. Okay, so now we have to examine our model. Okay, how to examine our model? You just take what are all the transactions which is available. Each transaction will have the data set. In other terms, you will say it as, in case of a document, you will have bag of words. In case of if you want to analyze some documents also, you can make use of the same association rule mining concept. Okay, so now we will go into the association rule mining. What is rule actually? Okay, what is a rule? In this model, how rule can be identified? So the rule is nothing but an association rule with this implication format. Okay, what is implication format? X, okay, Y is going to be the two data items which is given over here. Okay, which is given over here, which means if a person buy X, it implies the person will buy the item Y. This is the association rule, which is an implication form. Okay, which means a person who buy milk, okay, implies that the person will also buy bread packet. Okay, so this is how the item can be identified, and the frequent items which have been bought in the previous history of transaction, okay, will be analyzed, it will be examined, and based on the analysis we will identify several items with this implication form. That is, X implies Y, which means a person who buys the item X will also buy Y. For that, what is the percentage of probability? Okay, that we will identify one by one. Okay, so given a data item X, okay, T contains X. So every transaction will contain several data item. So if I'm going to give it as the data item as X, means X is available in the transaction T. So that is the implication, that is the idea behind this given transaction. Okay, so several transactions will be given. X is the data item. It is available in several transactions. Based upon the history, purchase history of the data item X, we are going to identify a product item Y, which is implied that if a person buy X, will also buy Y. Okay, that is the association rule you are going to create. Okay, so let me just tell you what could be the item set. Okay, item set is going to be X. X is the item set. So it is going to have milk, bread, okay, cereal is the item set. Okay, so if an item set is going to have some n number of items, then such a item set will be called as n item set. You see over here, how many items are available here? We have 1, 2, 3. So the item set is going to be 3. Now let me come back to this association rule mining. What is our X now? X is milk, bread and cereal. Now what could be Y? Okay, if a person buys milk, bread and cereal, okay, the person can also buy Y. Y is going to be, let me tell it as butter. Okay, butter and jam. Okay, butter and jam. We have two different items. So it is not a constraint that only one data item should be present. We can have some combination of more than one item. Okay, a combination of several items can also be your item set. So if a customer buys milk, bread and cereal together in one purchase, okay, he could also be buying Y. Y is going to be your butter and jam. Okay, so this is the item set. Now we will go for rule strength measure. How to find out what is the maximum probability in order to, what is not probability, what is the percentage of percentage that we have in order to buy. If a person buys X, okay, what is the probability or what is the percentage of acceptance to buy Y also? Okay, for that we are going to have two different measuring component. One is called as support and another is confidence. Okay, so what is support? Okay, so if a transaction is going to have both X and Y, okay, what is the total number of acceptance level? Okay, if confidence is nothing but what is the number of transactions which contains X also contains Y, that is called as confidence. Okay, so if a person is buying the data item X, okay, what is the acceptance level to buy Y? For that we have these two measures, support and confidence. I'll make it as simple. Okay, support is nothing but I have two item set X and Y. Okay, support is nothing but the number of transactions which contains both X and Y divided by total number of transactions that do we have. Confidence is nothing but, okay, out of X number of that is the number of transactions which have the data item X, okay, ratio between the total number of transactions which contains both X and Y. Okay, so this is how you have to calculate the support and confidence. Okay, so you see over here, if I want to find out the support of bread, okay, support of bread for buying bread, what is sorry, for buying bread, okay, for buying bread, what is the support? So you identify number of transactions in which bread occurs divided by total number of transactions that is available over here. For example, if 5 transactions are available, okay, and where bread occurs, and there is nearly 7 transactions where the total number of transactions, out of 7 transactions, 5 transactions have the occurrence of buying bread. Okay, so the support is going to be 5 divided by 7. Okay, so what is confidence here? Confidence is, if a person buys bread, what is the acceptance level to buy milk? Okay, so now you have to find out the support for both this bread and milk divided by the support of the bread alone. Okay, so in this way you have to find out the support and confidence. To see this particular example, this is how your transaction table will be given to you. Okay, what is the question? Given a transaction table D, find the support and confidence for a association rule. Okay, the association rule is B and D. Okay, B and D is let me take B is going to be bread, D is going to be milk. Okay, bread and milk. What is the acceptance to buy uh, butter? Okay, for that you have to find out the support and confidence. What is the formula for support? The formula for support is the number of transactions where you see this is going to be X, this is going to be Y. Okay. So what is the total number of transactions? We have 7 transactions is there. So 7 will be coming in the denominator. Okay. The support value is equal to, okay, total number of transactions is 7. What is the formula for support? You just go back. Number of transactions in which A appears divided by total number of transactions. Okay. So this is going to be our left hand side is going to be A. B and D. You just check the transactions which contains, okay, B is available here but D is not there. D is available here but B is not there. See, B and D both available. So one transaction. Again another transaction, B and D is available. B and D is available. B and D is available. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, for that support of a like support formula was the transactions which contain both X and Y. So we should include E also, no, with B and D.
Yes, I'm just telling it for B, D, S. Yes, you have to find out for B, E also. Okay. You see over here, we have number of transactions in which A appears. Now, what is the condition is they are asking the support. Okay. So, B, D and E also. Yes, obviously D also we have to identify. See over here. Oh, I have taken only B and D, right? Okay, sorry. B, D and E also. You just check whether B, D and E is there. B, D and E is there. Okay, so total number of transactions which contains both B, D and E is going to be 3. So the support is going to be 3 divided by 7. Okay, so this is going to be the support. So when we are calculating this over here, okay, we get 0.42. That means 42% we have the support. Okay, 42% we do have the support over here. Okay, now what is the confidence? Okay, if the person is going to buy B and D, okay, what is the acceptance to buy E also? Okay, so for finding the confidence, what you have to do, you have to uh, find out that the support of A union B divided by support of A. Okay, now what is our condition is, you have to find out what is the transactions, number of transactions which contains B and D alone, that will be in the denominator, because that is support of A. Okay, the denominator you will have only the LHS value. Okay, so how many transactions contains only B and D? You just put it in the denominator. Okay, B and D we had 1, 2, 3, 4. So out of this 4 transactions, okay, how many transactions contains uh, A union B? Okay, B, D and E is going to be 3. Okay, so now the confidence rate will be like 3 divided by 4, which is equal to 75.75, which is equal to 75%. So the probability, that is, it is not probability. So if a person is buying B and D, okay, here the chances of buying this E also, okay, the confidence is going to be 75%. Okay, so this is out like finding out the support and confidence for the given rule. So rule will be given to you, and you are supposed to find out and identify the support and confidence. Okay, so you see over here, a transaction data is going to be given to you. Okay, the minimum support and minimum confidence will be given to you. Okay, now they will ask you to find out what could be the support and confidence for other rules which have been given to you, or they will ask you to find out, to generate some association rules. So what you have to do, you just find out some combination of items which are expected to be purchased. Okay, you just take those purchase pattern and you find out the support and find out the confidence. Okay, if it is going to exceed the minimum support, okay, minimum support will be there. If it is less than the minimum support, you can ignore that particular rule. For example, a person who buys some cloth, okay, the chances of buying milk, okay, cloth and milk, okay, see here, cloth and milk, several transactions have cloth and milk, which means these two data items has the high chances to buy together. When we see here, like we have chicken, clothes and milk. Okay, here chicken, cloth and milk, chicken, cloth and milk. Okay, so this type of item sets can be identified, and then it has to be more than the minimum support and confidence. Okay, what is this minimum support and minimum confidence? Which means the chances of buying should be at least more than this. Then only that particular item will be recommended in the future. Okay, so that is minimum support and confidence. I'll just to show you one example for this minimum support and confidence. Okay. If we look over this support is there and minimum confidence is there, I will just take one example over here. Okay, 50%. So if we look over this example, we do have a transaction is going to be given to you. Okay, transaction T1 is going to have I1, I2, I3, I2, I3, I4, I4, I5, and then 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have several items which are available in the transaction. Okay, now they have given the minimum support and minimum support has been given to you. Okay, so how to find out that support threshold and confidence? It will be given to you. Okay, you will be given this is the threshold in order to associate two different data items. So support is 50% and confidence is 60%. So how to convert this percentage into the value? Okay, so to find out that, you just multiply it by the total number of transactions. So the minimum support should be 3. That means at least in 3 transactions, you should be able to identify a given data item I. Okay, that is going to be the minimum support. Okay, I'm just going with this solution. Okay, so the item set is given to you. You know what is the minimum support. How to find out the minimum support? You just multiply this given support multiplied by the number of transactions. You will get the minimum support. Okay, now first step is you have to find out the count of each item. Okay, so how to find out the count of each item? Item I1, just go with this example. Item I1, you see how many transactions are containing I1. Okay, you just find out which are all the transactions which contain I1. So I1 is available here. First transaction, fourth transaction, fifth transaction, and sixth transaction. So 4 is the count for I1. In the same way, I2 occurs in 5 transactions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 times. I3 4 times. 1, 2. So in this way, you just find out the number of occurrence of the item, okay, in the given transaction table. So how many times this item has occurred in the transaction. Okay. Next step is you have to delete the items which are less than our minimum support. Okay, so what is our minimum support? An item should be available, okay, in at least 3 transactions. Okay, take given an item I, okay, our minimum support is going to be like at least 3 transactions should contain that item. Okay, so now if you look into this problem, I5 is occurring only in 2 transactions, but our minimum support is, it should be 3. Okay, so you delete this. This is called as pruning. Okay, this is called as pruning step. The second step is you have to prune the items which are lesser than the minimum support. Okay, so item I1, I2, I3 and I4 are satisfying the condition of minimum support count. So these items are taken. Okay, so this is second step. Okay, so what is our objective? Given a transaction data set, you have to find out the frequent item sets. Frequent item sets you have to find out, and you have to find out the item set rules also. Okay, so I'll just go with the next step. Third step is join step. I will tell the algorithm. Third step is join step. Now we have taken one data item. The next data item is you have to go with item set count 2. That means you have to take 2 pairs of data set. Sorry, 1 pairs of data set. Okay. I1 and I2, I1, I3, you just take all the combination of item sets which is possible with your given data set. You see over here, item set, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So for this 4 item set, what are the combinations? Okay, we have all these combinations. Don't take I1, I1. Okay, I1, I2, I2, I3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 4. Take all the possible combinations which are distinct and find out its count. See, I1 and I2 are occurring in 4 transactions. I1 and I2 are occurring in 4 transactions. So you just put the count of the transactions where this item both are occurring. Okay, so that will be the next step. In the same way, you just put the count for all the items which are available together. That means people who buy the item I also bought the item I2. Its number of transactions is 4 transactions. Okay, So in this way, we have made the item sets in the joints by joining the item set. Okay, that is, this is called as two item set. Initially, we have seen one item set. This is for one item set. This is one item set. Now we have going into two item set. Okay. Next is once again you have to apply prune over here. Okay. Now what is the item set which are lesser than our support? Our support is 3. Am I right? Our support is 3. Okay. So now you delete this transaction and delete this transaction because these two items are lesser than our minimum support threshold. Am I right? So you just remove those transactions. Now our new set of transaction is 1 2 1 1 3 2 3 and 2 4. This is going to be in the pruning step. Next, once again, what you're going to do is once again you do the item set 3. Okay, now take all the 3 set of item sets pairs and you just check which item sets are frequently available. Okay, so if we see over here the item in this particular item set, you just check I1, I2, I3. Okay, if we look over our given example, I1, I2, I3 is there. Okay, in this transaction. Here also we have I1, I2, I3 is there. Okay, this is also I1, I2, I3 is there. Okay, so 3 transactions have the item pairs I1, I2, I3. If we look over other example, other 3 item sets, I2, 2, 3, 4 is there, 2, 3, 4 is there, but 2 times only it has occurred. Okay, 1, 2, 4 is there, but 1, 2, 4 is there, but 2 times it has occurred. Okay, so which item pair is satisfying our minimum support? 1, 2 and 3 are the item pairs which is occurring in 3 transactions. So it is satisfying our minimum support threshold. Okay, so the frequent item set in our given transaction table is one item I, 1, I2 and I3. So this is the form of identifying the frequent item set from the given transaction table. Now our next form of solution is you have to generate the association rules.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt, but could you repeat the last step?
See this example. See, we are coming with one item set is done. Its count has been identified. If the items are available in less than 3 transactions, we have to ignore that. Okay, because we are making a condition like the item should occur in at least 3 transactions, not less than that. That is called as minimum support. Am I right? So at least in 3 transactions, we are expecting an item to be observed. Okay, so item 5 is observed only in 2 transactions. So we are deleting this transaction. That means we are pruning this transaction. So this is done with one item. Next, we are taking 2 pairs. There also we are finding this two combinations 1 and 4 and 3 and 4 are observed only in 2 transactions. So we are pruning this transaction also and we are filtering out the remaining transaction. What is our next step? 3 item set. What are the possible combinations? 1, 2, 3 occurs 3 times. Okay. 1, 2 and 4 occurs. Just go and check back. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4 occurs. 1, 2, 4 occurs 2 times. You see here and here. Okay. So 2 times. Let's write it over here. It is 2 times.
So like
okay, this is also like 2 times. This is also like 2 times. Okay, or 1 time. Which is a transaction item set which is satisfying 1, 2, 3. So this is identified as the frequent item set. So based on this, we are going to identify we are going to generate the rule.
Ma'am, but like then suppose in this step we have got 2 sets which have minimum support 3 or greater than 3. So should we go for forming
both the thing you have to go. because both are satisfying, na?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I thought that we need to form the combination of 4, like that we need to increment till we get only one combination.
Yes, yes, you have to again once again see if you have to if I have two sets. For example, I have this also become 3. Okay, let me assume this is also 3. Now what to do? You go for the next increment join step. Okay, and once
I will.
again you just check for that particular transaction to get happen. If you look, if in case if it happens like this means, okay, so so if you have it out 1 2 3 4, let me take this happens one time. Okay, 1 2 3 4 occurs one time, but it is not satisfying our minimum support. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
So it has to be, it could not be considered. So it is better to stop here. Our algorithm will stop here with 3 item set. Okay, so that could be the solution. Now, based on, now you have identified what is the combination of item sets, which could be frequent. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to generate the actual rule. Okay, if we come to know that user who bought item I1, I2, I3 together, but we don't know what could be the rule. We have to fix the rule. How to fix that particular rule? Okay, so what we are going to do is you just take the I1, okay, I1, I2 and I3. You make all possible rules which are possible. All the possible rules you just generate. So the person who buy I1 and I2 implies he will buy, chances of buying I3. For that you find out the support and find out the, you just find out the confidence for that. How to find out the confidence? You find out the support of I1, I2, I3 divided by support of I1 and I2. Okay. In the same way, I1 and I1, I2, I3, I1, I3, I2, I2, I3, I1. In the same way, you just make it in the reverse order like I1, I2, I3, I2, I2, I1, I3. So all possible implication rules you can generate and find out the confidence on buying that. Okay, which means person buying I3, okay, person buying I3 implies he will also buy I1 and I2. So you find out the, you compute the confidence. The confidence, we will be getting some confidence level like 75%, 100%, 75%, 60%, 75%, like that we will get the confidence. Now if you observe the results, okay, you identify the maximum confidence that you got, which means the as you see over, this is the place where we are getting 100%, which means the customer who buys I1 and I3 has the highest chance of getting I2. So this could be the maximum, this is going to be the maximum chances of rule which could be generated to keep the data items I1, I3 in a rack. Near rack, you can just keep I2. Okay, so in this way, you can just make some modification in the way of placing the data item in the uh, in the supermarket. Okay, anyhow we are going to place I1, I2 and I3, but we are generating a rule. Okay, we are generating this association rule that the person who buy I1 and I3 will have the highest chance of buying I2. Okay, so that these 3 items will be bought together, will be 100% that people will buy that. Okay, so if we are looking into this again, find out what is the minimum association rule. Okay, so if we look over here, if the person who is buying I3 alone, okay, has a very less chance of buying I1 and I2, which is only 60%. Okay, so you should not keep this item I3 alone, because if the person buy I3 alone, he will miss I1 and I2 because the chance is only 60%. Okay, so what you have to do, instead of placing I3 alone, you place I3 along with I1, so that I2 will also be added together, and both these items I1, I2, I3 will become frequent, so that the chances is going to be 100%. Okay, so in this given set of transaction table, Okay, you will be given some minimum support will be given to you, and then what is this? Even confidence they have given. So if this is confidence here out means, okay, 60% confidence they have given. Okay, so these are all the association rules which could be considered for identifying the association rule. Okay, so this is association rule mining problem. You are supposed to be identified with it. So the I will now I will just go back to the algorithm. So item set will be given to you. You have to perform the join step, and you have to check. You have to find the pruning step, and you find out the frequent items. Okay, and you just keep on setting these items iteratively until you are making the k item set. Okay, so this is going to be the flowchart, and the algorithm I'll just tell you. This is going to be the algorithm. This algorithm's name is a priori algorithm. Okay, the algorithm that we have seen today, like association rule mining, we have seen, right? Its specific algorithm name is going to be a priori algorithm. Okay, so it will be initially it will be sending the transaction. It will find out the number of transactions which are greater than the minimum support, and it will be iteratively generating the candidate pairs. Candidate generation is nothing but item sets we are generating it, right? One item, two item, three item, four item set. Okay, those item sets will be generated. Once that particular data item is greater than the minimum support, we will add, just getting some sound. I will be adding that particular item set together in case if the data item is going to occur in the transactions which is greater than the minimum support. Okay, so we'll be keep on concatenating that item set until we are concatenating all the data item set which is going to satisfy the minimum support. Okay, so this is the algorithm that we have seen now. The algorithm that we have the steps which we have applied now is nothing but a priori algorithm. Okay, so with this a priori algorithm, we are identifying the candidate generation function. What is this candidate generating functions? It is going to identify the frequent k items. Okay, initially we have I1, I2, I3, I4, I5. Later on I1, I2, I1, I3, I1, I4, like that we have generated the k item sets, right? That is nothing but a priori candidate generation. I have just gone in the reverse order. I have solved the problem. Now I am just explaining the algorithm. Okay. The first step is going to join step. What is join step? It will generate all possible candidate item sets of length k. Okay. It is k is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4. One item and then pair of item and three items together, four items together. Okay, and then remove those candidate pairs which cannot be frequent. What is which cannot be frequent? Minimum three transactions you have to encounter that item I. Okay, if it is less than three transactions, if only one transaction is containing those pairs means you have to prune that. That is called as prune step. Okay, so this is going to be like this support and confidence. You can examine like people, customers who buys bread. Okay, there's customers who are buying milk. Now this diagram is going to show who are the customers who buy both bread and milk. Okay, so this a priori algorithm is out like just intersection of two different item sets. If a person is buying this item set I1, okay, I2 is another data set which contains which is bought by another customer. What is the chances this particular item set will be bought both by customer 1 and customer 2? Okay, so that intersection point only we are focusing on. Okay, so what is happening here? Then in this point, transaction T1 intersection with transaction T4 intersection with transaction T5 and T6, because in all these transactions we could encounter that item I1 is what. Okay, so this is how you can examine your item sets, okay, with this support. Let me just go back. Is there anything left? What is the advantage of this algorithm? It is easy to understand. Joining and pruning with some large database is easy to implement. Okay. The drawback of this is if we are making our minimum support, how to set the threshold for that minimum support is very, very crucial. Okay. If you are keeping the minimum support as some very less value, if I keep the minimum support for my previous algorithm as 2 or 1, whether you are able to find out the frequent set, you will end up with all the data items. That will be the problem. See, I have some I5, up to I1 to I5 I have, so 5 data items are there. If I am keeping the minimum support as some 2 or 1, okay, that means at least in 2 transactions this particular combination of item sets should be available. Then what will be the result? All the all the items will be coming in your frequent item set. So it is very crucial to select the item minimum support threshold. If it is kept very low, the computation will take much time, and also it will end up with a combination of item sets where all the items will be available. Okay, but then what is the use of finding the frequent item set? So you should not keep it very low. Minimum support should be kept in an optimal value so that you can find some exact frequent item sets which are expected to bot. Okay, and another important process is if your database is very, very, very large. Okay, some millions of transactions are going to be available. Okay, you have to scan the entire table to find out the occurrence of those data items, so that will take some time. Okay, that is the drawback of this. Okay, so now if you see over here, you are expected to given some transactions like this. Okay, just do this as a homework and come for the next class. So you will be given some transaction IDs like this. You have to apply the a priori algorithm on this data set, and they have given the excuse me, minimum support as 0.2. Okay, so 0.2 multiplied by 10. Okay, you just multiply by that and you see how many transactions are getting these items and find out the frequent item set. And the next step is show 2 rules that have the confidence 0.7 or greater for an item set containing 3 items. Okay, so you take some 3 frequent item sets and you check with the combinations. Okay, we in the last step we have seen, right? He like this. You take some 3 data item set. You generate the rules for that. How to generate the rules? Take all the combinations. I1, I2, I3, I1, I3, I2. Either you take the combinations and you find which rule is getting the confidence greater than 0.7. Okay, so you just find if you look into this, okay, you just find out which is greater than 0.7. Okay, 0.7 in the case, it is going to be 70%. Greater than 70%, what are all the item sets which is available? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you ignore this. That's it. Okay, so here they have given it as item I1, I2, I3. Here they have given it as like shirt, shoes, and then coat, shirt, boots, like that. You will be given some transaction ID. Very simple. You're going to check the frequency of the item, how many transactions where you can find out those items. You just put the 1 item set, 2 item set, 3 item set. Here we have even we can go for some, I think it will stop by 4 item set probably, or since the minimum support is going to be 0.2, it will even go for some 3 to 4. Okay, and find out the transactions which is satisfying your minimum support, and you first find out the item sets. Then for that item set, you take a 3 item set and you find out which association rule is giving the confidence which is equal to 70 or greater than 70%. That's it. Okay, so this is a form of question that a form of problem you can expect from this particular module. Okay, you first understand what is association rule mining, and you understand this two step. One is join step and another is pruning step. Okay, two steps you are going to find out, and find out the items, frequent items, and apply the confidence over there. Very simple. If you could understand, this particular example is very easy to, this problem is very easy to solve, and just give me a minute. Okay, so with this a priori algorithm is over. Okay, if you have any doubts, kindly unmute yourself and ask if you have any doubt. Yes, otherwise you can type in your register number and you can leave the class. Yes, Krunal, you have any doubt?
Yes, ma'am. I saw in the formula there was something in the denominator, that is there was division, but in the table there you didn't divide anything, ma'am. Why?
See, that is for computing support. Support is directly given to us in the table.
Oh, okay, ma'am. So if support is given, so we don't have to divide anything.
You don't want to divide anything. If they're asking you to find out the support, at that point only you have to divide it.
Else we had to consider only count.
Ah, yes. See, actually, I'll just tell you 1 second. You see over here, here you have your formula for computing support and confidence is given to you. Okay, so if you're giving a transaction like this and they're asking you to find out what is the support and confidence for that, at the time you are supposed to find out the support and confidence. Other than that, in a priori algorithm, we are not going to compute support and support here. They will give the support itself. See, minimum support will be given in your input itself. This min SUP is there, right? This is minimum support they will given to you. So if your item set is greater than the minimum support, you have to make use of that. You have to include the transaction. Otherwise, we have to remove that. That's it.
Ma'am, but
Okay.
in the last step where we are calculating that 75%, 100%, so there the support of I1, I2, I3, will it be given or like this?
See here, see they have given in the question like support is 50% and confidence should be confidence is 60%. This is given to you. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
This in this example, the support and minimum confidence is given to you. So minimum support is 50%. So 50 that is 0.5 multiplied by total number of transactions. That is the formula for finding the minimum support over here, which is 3. That means in at least 3 transactions you have to encounter the item. Okay.
Yes,
So
that
now based on the support you have computed the frequent item set. Now what is the thing is, we know 60% is confidence. Okay, 60% is the confidence. You just find out the items which are greater than this minimum confidence level. What are the items we have? I1, I2, I3 is the first combination of item rule which will give you more than 60%, just 75%. So these are all the these are all the association rules that you can generate, which is more than 60%. That also you have to find it out.
ma'am, like that support I1, I2, I3 upon support of I2, that is done in the same way which you had explained, no, in the support formula, like count.
Yes, in the same way only we are identifying. See,
Using the count.
see, confidence is given to you, but you don't know for which association rule that confidence value is coming. That is not given, right? That you have to find it out.
So, ma'am,
Seema,
like
in
this,
the transaction items are given to you. Okay, transaction database is given to you. You know
yes,
what is the support, what is the confidence is given to you.
yes, ma'am.
But we don't know what is the item sets which are going to be frequent, and we don't know which is the item set which will satisfy this confidence. That is what you are trying to find out using this algorithm. So the item set is pairs are I1, I2, I3, and which item set is giving the maximum confidence? It is going to be I1, I3, I2. I1, I3 implies I2 is going to give 100% confidence, which is greater than 60%. That is the
Okay.
maximum confidence, and minimum confidence is 60%.
And this confidence is calculated by that formula count in which both x and y are appearing upon.
Ah, yes, that's it. That's the formula.
Okay, ma'am. And one more thing, ma'am, we need to stop with the 3-item combination only, no?
Because if you go for 4-item combination, the support will it will not satisfy the minimum support.
Okay,
That's it.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.